What's up, Discmaniacs? Zach here from Team Discmania and Team Flight Towel for this year. We're finally going to do it in the bag. I know it's been a long time coming. The bag keeps changing. I've been super busy. I already filmed it in the bag, and then the audio was awful. So this is me finally having a chance to redo it. We're already running out of daylight, and I still want to get around in. So we're going to run through this really quick. I don't want this to be like 15 minutes long. Every time I try and do it, it ends up being way longer than that. So we're going to try and keep this short. So starting out with the putters, and then we'll get to the accessories. So I am putting with the Nicholas Antala Flex 3.5-ish. These are really stiff. The Glow P1s. These things are amazing. The stability on these is similar to that of the old P2s. Like super straight, but still has a finish. Much more stable than the Flex 2 P1s. Something about these just been amazing. Flex on the awesome mini team stamp. Then for my throwing putters, I have the Cosmic Fury 2, just been absolutely loving this as a beeline straight flying throwing putter in the premium plastic. So finally I have one I'm not having to replace every couple weeks. Well, it was like every 6 weeks, but I was having to replace it. It would get too flippy. Stoked to finally have a premium plastic one. Base putter that I do throw is the XO Hard Tactic. When these get beat up, it is a thing of beauty. They fly super straight, still really dependable fade at the end. And they hold up to the wind and low glide, just real point and shoot, feel fantastic for the forehand. I'm still getting used to forehanding the Cosmic Fury. It forehands just fine, but it's a little deep, but it does go really straight. I just can't put a lot of power on this. I tend to get too much flutter. I think it's a little too deep for me. I can just absolutely smash on this the forehand. Kyle Klein also just been ripping on the XO Hard Tactic lately. I do pair that with a Neo Tactic from the mystery box, not this past year, but the year before. I got a couple of these. Cool, sick die on here a buddy of mine did for me. And that's it for my putters. Moving on to mid-ranges, I keep it pretty simple. More utility use, I have a super beat-up Neo Origin. This is insanely flippy, but it's great for those like touch approaches where like I want to use a putter, but maybe it stands still, I have a weird angle, I need something to get over quick. So this has basically been filling the role of like my flippy putter, so to speak. But it's also, I can't really power up on this too much or just burn over, but for touch forehands and stuff, it just works really, really good. Highly recommend a Neo Origin. Probably my most thrown mid, just for the do-it-everything, is the Swirly S-Line MD1. Really straight, smooth turn, but still comes back. A little bit stiffer feel than the C-Lines. The C-Lines tended to be pretty gummy. This, to me, felt like just a little bit stiffer. Love the tackiness of the Swirly S-Line plastic. A little more stability in these two that I just really enjoyed. That they don't pull over quite as hard as the C-Lines I found. And definitely not the Mindbender. Next step up is going to be the Metal Flake MD3 tournament stamp from a tournament I ran back in November. But these Metal Flake MD3s are a true workhorse for that stable approach mid. I can throw it on hyzer, it'll just pull. I can throw it flat, it'll just go straight and fade. Minimal turn out of these with a little hyzer flip up. They just go straight laser beam. So S-Line MD1 went on a little turn. These when I needed to hold up to the wind, or I just wanted to hold a hyzer the whole way through with no turn at all, no flip up, no flare. Pretty straightforward, do it all mid. Between the S-Line MD1 and MD3 and the Metal Flake, it's pretty much the only mids I need. And then we have this for the Wind Fighter. True stability is the Swirly S-Line MD5. Loving this disc. It's new to the bag, but I found the grip and feel is like the S-Line, but it has the stability of the Metal Flake C-Line, so it's kind of the best go-between for me. As it's beating up, it's getting a little bit straighter. Absolutely loving the MD5. Moving on to Fairways. Let's go with just straight Fairways. I know it's an 8-speed, but it slots in with my Fairways anyway. The Neo Essence, the Primal Run, I found this to be more stable. The Luminescence is about the same stability, and when I lose this, I'm going to replace it with a Luminescence. Those are awesome, similar, a little more stable than your stock Neo Essence. But this is my great hyzer flip up, continuous turn, it'll get back to flat. So when I need to shape a shot that looks like a forehand but throw them backhand, going with the Essence. Sorry, these are hard to get, but this has been my favorite run of FD ever made, is the Nightstone and the Neo Plastic. It's an FD and it flies fantastic, just has that Neo Plastic feel, but otherwise it flies the same, maybe a little bit more stability at the end, similar to the C-Line plastic, but I just absolutely love the feel of the Neo Plastic. Reminds me of the Night Strike 2. I need all of those in my life. Skywalker Horizon FD1. This is my go-to fairway, go-to everything. You can shape it, you can throw it in a hyzer, hold, flex out. 9 out of 10, this is the fairway that I'm throwing on almost every hole. It basically flies like an MD4, but a fairway. We can't say enough good things about this disc. Absolutely amazing. And I will say that this one ended up being a little bit more stable than most of the other ones, but still not as stable as the C-Line. So I'm bagging both just to get the overlap and stability. This is finally beat up to where it flies like most of the stock ones, but I can't say enough good things about both of these discs. The FD1 has been hands down my favorite fairway to come from Disc Mania in a long time. All right, let's go with hybrids, and then we'll get to distance drivers. Well, I guess this would have counted as a fairway. I left this one out. S-Line FD3. I mean, it's an S-Line FD3. Everyone knows what the FD3 does. Overstable. I do pair that with a Color Glow FD3. These things are super beefy, just a little bit under a splice. So I don't throw this much. This is on the side with my utility discs. I'm throwing that S-Line FD3 most of the time. But same thing, just insanely beefy on the Color Glows. For my 10 speeds, S-Line TD, S-Line PD. Perfect mixture. If anything 400 and in that I'm not throwing the FD1s on, I'm throwing these. Pretty sure for the S-Line TD, nice smooth turn. I can control the angle, it'll come back. PD holds up to the wind. If I throw it on Andy, it's flexing out, coming left. Can't say enough good things about both of these discs. Absolutely fantastic. And on to the distance drivers. This is easy. They're all DD3s and then a PD2 in here, and then I got a DD on the side for utility. So longest S-Line DD3. This one's super beat up, good flip. Almost doesn't even come back if I throw it on an Anheuser. These are out of order. Next step up in stability. Same thing, it's just newer, so it's a little bit more stable. This one will turn and come back. And then these dark green blue ones, really stable. I get minimal turn out of this, and then more fade. And then when I really need it to hold up to the wind, I'm throwing the Horizons. These things have a lot more stability. This one's getting pretty beat up. This will just hold straight and fade. I don't throw this one unless I'm throwing it into a strong headwind where I just really need to guarantee that even this one's not going to turn. Usually I'm throwing either the blue one or my dark green one though. This is more for when I need that turnover shot and I'd make sure it turns over. Outside of that, we have some utilities in here. And this will be it for the Frisbees. We got Metal Flake DD, super flippy. I don't throw it a whole lot, but I want a nice controlled turnover shot that'll just barely pan back to flat. Or for forehands, this thing is just magic. Forehands, for my weaker forehand, just a little hyzer pops up flat and goes. Love that disc. PD2, we're going to try out the S-Line PD2 here in a bit and see which one wins over, but I've been really liking this. Again, it's just a wind fighter. I don't throw it a whole lot. Super overstable. And then almost never throw it, but when you need it, I'm glad I have it in the bag. I'm never going anywhere without my tilt, even if I only throw it maybe once per tournament. But for get out of jail shots, there's a lot of cool things you do with a tilt, so it lives in the bag forever. Outside of the bag, we have little knickknacks in here. I like to keep some chapstick for the sunny days and windy days. Keep some, this is just a hand sanitizer. And then I keep some hand warmers in here that need to come out because it's finally warmed up. And then some Band-Aids because you never know. Always bottled water or a Gatorade. And then flight towel. And then I keep a spare flight towel on the side, so I love these for warming up with. And this is, I ran for a store for a tournament, it says remove before flight towel, because our store, Rotor Disc Golf Supply, is helicopter based, because I'm helicopter pilot. And I'm a nerd, so I like all things helicopters. But for warming up, can't go wrong with the fob. And we have Rotor Disc Golf Supply Mini, just, shameless shout out to myself. In the side pocket here, shout out to Whale Sacks. Got my pineapple whale sack in here. And jumping over to this side. Whoop, almost forgot. And then you can't ever go anywhere without a Sharpie. It lives on the side here. Rangefinder. And some nail clippers. Just in case you need to trim up a disc or your own fingernails. And then down here, protein bars or snacks. Loving the pound bag. The Rufus is the best bag I've ever used. I don't know if you can use any other bag other than the Rufus. So, shout out to Pound and the Rufus. You should get one. I don't get any kickbacks. I should. And I think that'll about do it. So, That's the in the bag as quick as I can go. Hopefully it wasn't 20 minutes long. We'll catch you guys next time.